Hey yo, what is going on you guys? Calejandro here and welcome back to the episode of Magayon. In this episode, we're going to be expanding to the west of the capital city. And yep, welcome back you guys to another episode of Magayon. It's been a little bit long since the last episode. I mean, it's been a long time since I played Cities Skylines. It's been a week. Yeah, a week. It's been like, for me, a week is a very long time. But if you weren't able to catch the last episode, we built the temple, which is here, the old walled city, which is the capital city, the old capital city of a Philippines that was never colonized. It takes inspiration from that. Magayon is like embodying that thing, the statement of the Philippines never colonized. But anyways, let's get back into the video. Today we are going to be doing some major expansion. We're going to be moving away from the old walled city like La Candura because it took a long time to build. Like planning, like I had to create an entire lore, an alternate history, a timeline just for the old walled city because it had to have a place. And I was like very into the pre-colonial history and all that kind of stuff. And it has been, dare I say, eye-opening because a lot of things I had to relearn a lot of things about our history because most of the history that's being taught in schools are still from the ashes of colonialism. Well, ashes, because yeah, we have been brainwashed by the Spanish colonizers to believe that we were once not a socialized country, like we were just cavemen or something like that. That's what I was taught in school, mga mangmang. But turns out we were we're very advanced. Like we are a socialized, we're a civilized society. You see me mumbling my words because it's actually the second time I've recorded this because there was something wrong with the recording. It was like that. But yeah, speaking of the you're seeing right here are the rivers. There are gonna be rivers, a lot of rivers in this side of the city because in Manila, there are actually a lot of rivers or small rivers, canals. They're called estados. And in the past, they were the main mode of transport because everybody was using boats. Diba? Everybody was using boats. There were still no roads, no highway. So these were very important. And this is going to be a nature reserve, I assume. But I think I'm going to make it into a Singapore because this is the 2030s after all. The Magayon is set in the 2030s. And because you'll see later that this kind of looks like Singapore. You know, I'm just getting a Singapore vibes after I've built this. But I'm thinking of making it a nature reserve or something. But also a downtown. Or maybe a special park, a special area, a special place. But anyways, hit me up in the comments what you think I should build here. But I think I'm going to build a Singapore or something like that close to it. And yeah, you see me place the roads later on and what I'm going to be placing there. You saw in the time lapse, in the preview, that there was this a ring road or something, like an oval. It's not like a stadium or something. It's gonna, I don't know. It was on the plan. Speaking of plan, I'm going to be taking inspiration once again from Daniel Burnham's plan of Manila. Most of my the road layout of the city is taking inspiration from Daniel Burnham's plan of Manila, the 1910 one, because it's one of the most beautiful plans that I've seen for Manila in ever, because it's the only thing I've seen so far, except in Quezon City, which is more of a road centered, because Daniel Burnham is very influenced by the French and Paris, specifically Paris, because Paris has a lot of these radial roads and wide avenues and boulevards and center points, roundabouts, and Magayon will have a lot of that. And yeah, now we're going to be talking more about them in later episodes and in the next episode and later on in the video. But yeah, now I'm just building this delta. I don't know, it's swampy or something, but it's gonna look beautiful in the end. You've seen the first part. And here's just me thinking on how I'm going to approach this place. And I'm just building a temporary connection to a water source, to the river up there. And I'm using these network rivers because they're much easier to control than terraforming the rivers themselves, because I can make them into any width I want with the, what do they call this mod? Oh my god, I forgot. It is the Node controller. I'm going also about to say Move It because I'm using the Move It mod and Node controller at the same time because the two of them are game changers for this game. I mean, without these games, you would just be playing regular old Cities Skylines, which is amazing, but adding this flair to the game makes it 1,000 times better. And you'd see me use that to make those canals smaller to become esteros. And esteros are quite beautiful in the 1900s, 20th century, but now it looks like this, filled with a lot of trash, all of this, all of that. Thankfully, they're kind of trying to be clean, but the efforts are too small. It has to be like a law to do that, like, and stuff, because everybody has to do their part in making that reality, and sadly it's taking a long time. But as compared to the 90s, when the whole of Pasig River, which is that river you're seeing, I'm taking inspiration from Pasig there, the smell was bad, filled with trash, all this, all that. And yeah, Magayon is deviating from the negative connotations related to the river and making it more of what it used to be and bringing that into the future. So Magayon is like an alternate reality. If you've seen Loki, by the way, Loki has just been released, a Disney Plus series, Marvel Comics. Loki, the brother of Thor. Yes, highly recommend. Amazing. I'm watching it and it's very inspirational. Like everything, the acting, the script, the story, and the way it's setting up for the next phase of Marvel's the cinematic universe, which is the multiverse and all that kind of stuff. I've watched WandaVision, that's why I have this thing for alternate reality. And now with Loki, this is an alternate timeline. And yeah, the Magayon is an alternate timeline where the Philippines was never colonized. And yeah, now, getting back on the video before I get too distracted, we are now building the terminal station, the train station, the one where all trains meet or something. We're gonna have a lot of public transport in this series. I know you love that. And we're gonna have highways too. Later on in the episode, I'm gonna be sharing with you that. But speaking of public transportation, we're gonna have a lot. We're gonna have trams, boats, buses, metro, train, which sadly the Philippines has little to none. Wow! Thank you. We're the best at worst public transport. So many delays at the airport, so many delays at the trains, heavy traffic, and all that kind of stuff. Only in the Philippines. It's more fun in the Philippines. More fun. I mean, there was a meme about that, basically. When the tagline for the tourism board of the Philippines, more fun in the Philippines, people were like, fun, and then adding the word fun to the end. Like, yeah. Fandurukot, which is like theft. Because back then, there was a lot of like thieves in very dense places, because when you go like to a very dense place, there's a lot of people and sometimes you can get stolen. So you always gotta be careful. You always gotta keep an eye out for things. You never know what's gonna happen, and that's what that place here. Oh, amazing segue. I didn't know I would be using that. Pickpockets in Divisoria or something back in the day. Because COVID, nobody's pickpocketing now. More so the thing the people steal now is the freedom of the people. The thieves are no longer the small people. It's the people at the top, if you know what I mean. Delaying stuff for their own personal gain, which is what Magayon is. Is Magayon corrupt? Is Magayon a dictatorship? Is Magayon what you really think it is? Why are the roads so linear? Why are they so planned? Why is it so beautiful? How come? Why is it like Paris? Why? Questions. I think Magayon should have like a very dark history. You see, if you saw the last few episodes prior to this, by the way, I'm just gonna expand the roads, build grids, and all that kind of stuff. That's gonna be a suburb, because I just had this amazing thought. There's gonna be suburbs across the train station. It's gonna be low rise, but near the station, it's gonna be DENSE, dense, super duper dense. Yeah, getting back on the thing that I'm saying about Magayon, I just got distracted. I'm gonna give into the temptation. So yeah, Magayon should have like a very weird history, like a scary history. I'm not sure if it's a very scary history, but you know, a lot of world powers had their like dark times. I mean, America, you know, France, UK, colonization and all that kind of stuff. You can't escape those things. And even though Magayon is so beautiful and like safe from all that, I think the balance. We have to keep the balance. Nothing bad is ever truly bad, and nothing good is ever truly good. And that is from episode 2 of Loki. Wow, #learning. I'm not learning anything in school, by the way. I'm learning a little, but yeah, I'm learning more on what I watch. But yeah, I think Magayon should have like a weird secret, secret history. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep it to that. I don't want to get into too much details, because why is the city like so cleaned up, and how did they do this? How were they able to accomplish massive feats of urban planning? How about the people? I think a lot of people have been misplaced. Yeah, there's a little bit of scandals with human rights violations in the past, but thankfully the present day Magayon is like limited to that. It's been more cleaner than that, because that's a lot of world governments right now after 2020 are realizing that people are still important, and I hope our country does realize that too. And if you haven't registered yet to vote, my fellow Filipinos, which sadly I have not, I will be, because the deadline is on September. So if you haven't registered yet, you have to register and vote for the future of our country. Now getting back in video, here is the first of, I'm going to be having two like main circumferential roads. One is going to be taking inspiration from EDSA, which is right here, and another is taking inspiration from C5. Now, EDSA is the most famous of the roads in Manila because it's mostly famous for its traffic, and also because of its historical significance, because it's the place where the People Revolution, the People's Power March during the 1980s to throw over the dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos. I think there should really be one dictator for the history of Magayon, because that would explain everything that's happening here, or partly. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know what to call this avenue though. Maybe it's gonna be named after someone special in the history of Magayon, or maybe a special patron. I don't know, depends if you guys have any name suggestions. But we don't have any notable figures yet for this series except myself. I'm not gonna name it after myself. That's gonna be too narcissistic already, because the last series is actually named after me, Alejandro. So we don't want to be too much of a narcissist, because we are already narcissistic enough. So yeah, building this like road, I'm just using the avenues radiating from the center, and just using the 90-degree angle clipping to do it, because designing these plans, planning this, like drawing this, the architect, the urban planners actually use like rulers and compasses to measure angles, make everything align properly. But in City Skylines, you only have like the road tools and 90-degree angled snapping, and it's gonna be a little bit too hard to be, very true to the plan. So I'm just taking the vibe of things, because yeah, I still want to enjoy the game. I don't want to be taking it too seriously, because where that led us. It led us to 2 weeks of delays and lower, very long episodes, harder to produce episodes, but at least now I know what it takes, because doing YouTube takes a lot of effort. And if you guys want to support me in making more high quality videos like this one, the past ones, and more in the future, consider giving this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not yet the ending, but I just want to put it out there because I tend to forget to say that. But yeah, support this channel by leaving any suggestions you want for the next one, the next episodes, because the next one we're going to be building highway intersections. It's not going to be a highway, it's like a road turned into a highway, if you know what I mean. But anyways, I'm going to be talking more about that in the next episode. Now we're building the C5, which is the second circumferential road in this city. So inspiration from C5 in the Philippines, because we have C stands for circumferential, because we don't have ring roads in Manila, because half of it is in the water, so that can't be possible. So we have circumferential roads, and it looks like a C from space. As you can see, it's a letter C. So yeah, C 1 2 3 4 5 6. And if you didn't see, I placed like an elevated metro line, and that metro line, and that will be the MRT, Manila Railway Transit. I don't know what MRT means. Metro Railway Transit, Light Rail Transit, Metropolitan, something like that. Basta, it will encompass the various different cities in Magayon. And each city is going to be placed, each downtown of each city is going to be placed in those intersections of the avenue and the radiating roads. So yeah, these are all just placeholders, by the way. Nothing is set in concrete. Nothing is set in concrete, but the roads are, because it is kind of the game. Anyways, nothing is permanent. Things are going to be changed because as cities do, they do tend to change. But yeah, now I'm just building this road. I'm going to be changing that into a highway, by the way. Into like a proper Cities Skylines type of highway with 2 separate roads going in, interchanges, massive. Because this is going to be built later on in the future. Like, it's built in the 60s, 70s when highways were all the rage. So this is going to be when it's built, because this is a very young country. Magayon is a very young country. It's like it grew in the 21st century, essentially. It's 21st century city, and we're taking inspiration from Singapore. In the next one, you'd see me detail this park right here. Yes. Oh, I'm a little bit too early. But anyways, you'd see me detail this park. Oh, here it is. Singapore-ish. I'm really thinking of making this something like Singapore, like in Marina Bay Sands, because I'm going to be having some land reclamation in the future as well. But I think I'm gonna reserve that for the international airport, because yeah, I want to build an airport, but a lot of series like build the airport in the end of their series. But you never know. I don't know when I'm gonna build those places, but hopefully we get to build the international airport of Magayon soon. But we're gonna have a domestic airport in like the middle of the city, like on the eastern side. But we're gonna have a huge, very big, but not gonna be super big, because the city scaled way down. But we're just gonna have a huge international airport. We're gonna have a huge international airport at the reclaimed land on the western side of the city, or maybe even across the bay. We're not yet sure. Nothing is set in stone. A lot of detailing here and there. Very, very nice. Very, very cool. And this is a huge place. Like, it's almost as big as the capital city itself, which is small, because in Manila used to be quite small, just that city right there, and then it expanded uncontrollably because there was no urban planning that was followed because of certain things. Naman how life is. Things don't end up what they are, and things change. But in Magayon, things go beautifully, because I want to build beautiful stuff, and it's just for fun, and I want to share culture, but also make a fictional city as well. But as I've said, Magayon is not completely fun. It's gonna have a little bit of its dark side, but we're gonna be talking about those in later episodes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I sure did. It was a breath of air. It was a breath of fresh air. Yes, because of nature. You see what I did there? So if you want to support this channel, please give this video a big thumbs up and comment down below anything you want to see in the next episodes, or any place I want to take inspiration from. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to support this channel even more, please consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/Calejandro and get exclusive early access and more. Once again, this is Calejandro signing off. Bye! Bye.